Howdy! How's everybody out there in YouTube land? I hope this finds you well. Lord have mercy. I tell you what, this has just been the biggest shit show you've ever seen in your life for the last 2 months, and it's got worse the last week. So we'll just start it out and tell it like it is for anybody that may have, be behind the 8 ball that don't know what's happening. I've been sick for the last couple months, and a couple weeks ago, I decided that okay, it's time to go to the hospital. I'm not one to see doctors. I'm not one to go to hospitals unless I need to. And I got to the point where, hey, it ain't getting no better. As a matter of fact, it's getting worse.
Yep,
you need a little bit of help. But I never dreamed in a million years that I would get the kind of news that I got. I thought I'd just go to the ER and they'd say, well, you just need a pill to loosen something up in there. And it'll take a couple days maybe for it to kick in. You'll have a little discomfort, but you're going to be okay. We'll get you through this. And I thought I'd just go to the ER and they'd send me home with some medicine and it'd be okay. Well, they did a bunch of tests. And when the nurse or when the doctor came back into the room after they read the results of the tests, the look on her face said it all. And it was something that I have not wanted to hear. I've always hoped that I'd be able to avoid it. I think everybody does. But she told me, you have cancer. And she says, now look, we don't know how bad it is. We don't know how much it is or anything at this point. We just know it's cancer. And she says, here's the thing. This was just our little county hospital here, that it's part of the satellite system for Indiana University. And she says, we don't have the means to do what you need done here, but they do over in Muncie at the big hospital at Muncie Ball State Memorial. And so we're admitting you over there, and we'll have to wait for a bed to open up on the oncology floor. And you'll just stay here until we get you over there. And they'll run all the necessary tests, and they'll have all the necessary doctors and everything at your disposal to take care of whatever your needs are. So I had to get on the phone. I spent the whole night on the phone calling people to get things arranged because I was not expecting this. And my poor little dog that has never been without me, I had to farm her out, and boy, I tell you what, that's another fiasco all in itself. But
poor Scarlett.
She did get an adventure, and she's glad mommy's home. She thought I had abandoned her and wasn't never coming back. When I did get home, she looked at me like, "Who the hell are you?" And she's looked at me all week every time I go out the door. Are you coming back? So it really threw her into a tiz, and she's got some adapting to do, and I'm going to have to research kennels and find a place to put her if I end up back in the hospital again. Because right now they're saying, well, everything we can do for you can be done outpatient at this point. So, I don't know what the future holds. I'm just waiting for the reports, just like everybody else. They're waiting for the biopsy reports. I've got an appointment next Thursday, so there will be no show next Thursday. It's late in the afternoon, and I imagine they're going to want to run tests. It's right here at J County, but they got CAT scans and things there, and I think they're wanting to do an abdominal CT. And so I may be over there, for hours. Who knows what they're going to do with me. And I don't want to schedule a show and then not be able to do it because of that. So we just won't do one next week. But I wanted to get in here and say hey to everybody and let them know that I'm still kicking. I'm peaked. But I have been, somebody asked me the other day, well, how you feel? Well, I feel like I have been pulled through a knothole backward. And then they tied on to me and pulled me back through that hole. That's how I feel.
I can only imagine.
And that's just physically. Mentally, I feel like, somebody got in my head with a 2x4 and just beat the holy hell out of that only remaining brain cell that I have left.
Are are you feeling better or worse than when you first went in?
Oh, I'm feeling much better.
That's good.
But here's the
You
thing.
look like you're doing good. I mean,
They took off, brace yourself, 5 liters of fluid out of my gut because that's all they could take without me having more problems.
where'd the fluid come from?
Well, they're not really sure. But they know that I have some acute kidney problems.
Huh.
And so they took that fluid off of me, which made my gut feel better. But the problem there is my guts have not settled yet. That was a week ago yesterday. They took that fluid off, and your guts have to find their way back to their spots. So everything in there just kind of floating around. And my liver is about 3 sizes too big and looks like Swiss cheese. So
Oh.
it's very uncomfortable right around the, where your liver, well, your liver should sit right there in the right side. But mine, since it's enlarged, goes clear across. And it's very uncomfortable.
Wow.
Then you
Brenda.
don't want to be doing the Watusi or, trying to break dance or, do any fancy moves at this point because you want to try to keep everything calm
Yeah.
in there. But yeah, lots of tests, ultrasounds, and the paracentesis where they do the fluid off, and they did 4 different CT scans on me, and they drew every drop of blood I had. As a matter of fact, when I first went into the ER, I had no blood. Um, I was so dehydrated,
Um.
and they ended up having to give me a bag of IV just to get a little bit of blood to come through the tube.
Oh my God, Brenda.
I was totally dried up, except for the big ocean that I had sloshing around in my gut.
That's where all the water probably went.
The good news, if you want to find any good news in this, when they drew off that fluid, they tested the fluid, and there are no cancer cells in the fluid. So I'll take that. Any good news that I get,
Right. Right.
I'm take it and run with it. But they said that there was no cancer cells in that, so it may not have spread real far, but we don't know what we're dealing with the tumor that's in the pancreas or with any of the problems that it's put in the liver. And they're going to treat that after they get those biopsies back next week. And they're talking chemo. They didn't say what kind because they don't have the results of the test back. So pretty much in a nutshell, I mean, there's a whole hell of a lot more to it than that, but in a nutshell, that's what we're dealing with now. And they also have me signed up to go to the gastroenterologist so that he can check the rest of my innards out and see if there's any other problems in there that need to be dealt with. And right now, that's set for next month, but they're trying to move it up. If they get a cancellation or anything, they're willing to move me up, work me in, and get to work on this thing.
Well, Brenda, I'm so sorry you're dealing with this. This is sudden and horrible, and I'm glad you're in good spirits. I'm glad you're home. I'm glad this is all outpatient, but I mean, just the overall situation just sucks so
Yeah,
bad.
it's not a pretty picture, but I got a few things going for me. See, I went through cancer back in 1995 and had a hysterectomy. I caught it early, and the doctors was able to take care of it. And I know what the emotions are. I know what the roller coaster ride is, and I know how you need to handle this in order to get through it. I know what the fight is, and I know how to keep my spirits up. And if people don't like me keeping my spirits up, they want to see me sit around, wring my hands, and cry about this. They are barking up the wrong damn tree because this is, BrendaG now is on steroids. This is the big deal where I'm having fun.
Yeah.
I might be here 5 minutes and I might be here 50 years. I
Full
don't
speed
know.
ahead.
But by God, I'm going to have a good time while I'm here. And if other people don't like it, they can kiss my ass. I don't care. You have to set your priorities.
Right on.
You know, what are your priorities? Sit and whine and cry and bawl and squall. Where's that gonna get you?
Well, it's like you don't have to feel worse than you feel. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of people come in and they get the test results and it's better or worse or the same, and they're like, no matter what the news is, like walking in the door, you felt this way, you can still feel that way. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Does that make sense? I don't even know if that makes sense.
I entertained the people at that hospital. I had
You gave
comedy
me
shows
a
going.
few quips, so that's why I'm laughing, because you
I
told me
tell you
before.
what, we had the best time. The most of us. Now I had one night there where I had a really bad time with a nurse that she shouldn't be a nurse, but for the most part, I had a great time. I was in there cougering all them doctors and the interns and even the fellas that's moving the gurneys around and trying to pick them up and you know. Well, what's the matter, baby? Ain't you ever been chased by a cougar before? What?
How many numbers did you get?
Well, I kept trying to get roses, is what I kept trying to get, especially from them doctors, because, they come around. Is it okay if I touch your belly? No. Well, sure, it's okay. And then they feel it and they say, how's that feel? And I said, could you do that a little more?
You're so bad.
They say, stop that. And this one was real shy when he'd come in. And he tried to stay, strictly business. I kept looking at him and said, you're kind of cute. Over top of that mask, because they're all wearing the mask, and I said, you need to open up a little bit more. I like a fella who talks a little bit, and can communicate more. I said, you're all about business. And I said, now I've told you 2 or 3 times that when you come in here, I like red roses. I said, you might court me a little bit and bring me some red roses. And then when I get out of here, you got my chart, you got my digits. I said, just give me a call. We'll go to dinner. And
I love it.
I did a 1-hour comedy act in the back of the ambulance between Portland and Muncie one night with the guys in the ambulance. And we had a great time. They was loving my material and stuff, and I was telling them all kinds of stories. And they said that they'd come over to the channel and watch some of my videos. And I said, well, you better, because I'm going to be talking about you. And the one says, now listen, don't you be telling people we kidnapped you now. And I said, I wouldn't tell anybody you kidnapped me. But you might want to worry about what I would tell them. So
I've seen the tales you can spin.
I said, you might want to stay tuned to the channel, because I'll be doing some stories. I'm gonna make up a series on all the fun I had while I was at the hospital. And I think it shocked a lot of the nurses and stuff that, I wasn't going to sit around and whine and cry and bawl and squall and, kick at the moon and the walls. It is what it is.
Did they have counselors come to try and talk to you?
No, none of them. I didn't have any of them. Now I had people want to come in and nose into my personal life, which kind of ticked me off. But I guess that's their job. You live alone. You don't have anybody to take care of you. You don't have any family. Well, what do you do if you need some help? I said, there's people there in town that I can call. That's how I got to the hospital in the first place. And I told her, I said, would you stop treating me like an invalid?
Yeah.
I said, I'm not there yet. I'm still kicking. She says, well, do you have any medical devices? And I said, medical devices? What are you talking about? And she says, well, I mean, like a cane or maybe a scooter or a walker. And I said, the only thing I got is a cane. And I have that sitting beside the door. So if somebody comes up on my porch that I don't want up there, I can knock them off. she didn't know what to say to me or do, I'm like, look, if you got something important to ask me, then ask it. But don't be asking about my personal life. If I need help, I'm capable of getting help.
There you go. What more needs to be said?
Lord.
Yeah. Yeah. Hospitals have a full gamut of staff. I mean, they'll have counselors come in. They're like, how's your home life? Do you feel safe at home? I'm like,
my wife beats me.
Words hurt.
My dog bit me.
Oh, they got the whole team of professionals. It's just like they're swarming around you. Is it my turn to go like crank up the billing?
Well, just my cancer team is over a dozen people. I'd have to actually go in and count, but it's over a dozen. That's just the cancer team. Now I've got this gastroenterologist team. People ask me the name of my doctor. I said, which one?
Yeah. I don't know much about that world, but I think with cancer, like it's like a board decision, like your treatment. It's not just one person figuring it out. I think they all have to get the packet out. They all got to read it. They all got to weigh in. They all got to, I mean, it's like a committee type of thing. For
that's what happened Monday morning. They come in the room. There was a whole pack of them come in, and I let them talk and, say what they had to say. And that's when I told them, I said, now look, I've done everything y'all asked me to do, and I'm being held hostage in this room, and I don't like it. I have not been out of this room since Friday, and apparently I'm convicted, and my crime is having cancer. Now, y'all have told me to go on about living my life, and we'll just make the decisions one at a time as we get test results, and we'll decide what we're going to do. But how am I supposed to do that when I'm pinned in this room? And they had me on fall risk because I'd fell in the tub, a couple of weeks ago. So they had me on fall risk. So everything had alarms on it. If I as much as tried to pull a gown wedgie out of my butt, the damned alarms would go off. If you rolled over in the bed and got too close to the edge of the bed, which is a little nary bed for a big fat girl like me anyway, the alarms went off. I couldn't get any sleep for the alarms going off. I couldn't get comfortable because I couldn't squirm around enough to try to get comfortable because of the alarms going off. You couldn't have any privacy at all because they had to take you to the bathroom. They had to watch you in the bathroom. I'm like, oh my God, let me go home. That was the worst part. And it was the weekend. So you couldn't see the team until Monday. And the insurance wouldn't cover it if you wasn't there to see the team. So you had to stay to see. I said, look, I've done that. I said, now, I'm going to make myself real clear here. I have sat here and watched that second hand go round and round and round and round, 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 round on that clock for 3 days. So what you're all going to do, you're going to go down this hall someplace. You're going to find your conference room. It's got a great big conference table. And you're all going to sit around it, light your peace pipe, have your little meeting. And then you're going to come to the conclusion that Brenda can go home. And you're going to sign them discharge papers. And I'm getting the hell out of here today. And he says, well, if all the doctors can agree on it. I said, looking at a whole tribe of you, and you think that you're all going to agree on anything? I'm telling you, I'm explaining this to you as clearly as I possibly can. That unless you have some life-altering thing that you're going to be able to do today, I'm going home. So they went down the hall. They had their little meeting, and they signed the discharge papers. And in the meantime, I had the nurses line up everybody else. I said, herd them through here like show ponies. If there's anything I need to sign, anything I need to know, any questions that I need to ask, anything they need to ask me, whatever it is that they need to do, I just want them parading right through here, right back out the door, and the next one in and back out the door, and the next one in and out the door until we get done with them, and then I'm going home.
I love it. You're calling the shots. You do this.
I'm sitting there in my prison chair having to direct traffic. But yeah, I was enjoying myself, but there's so much you can take. It's when it's time to go home, it's time to go home. and you're not seeing any peace, you're not getting any sleep. Uh, it was just time. They can watch me on YouTube. We'll do it outpatient. But I kind of ignored all the folks in the chat, but I'll go back up through here and see who all we got. Jaden's in the house. Hello, Jaden. Good to see you. Jim Shears. I had a date with him this afternoon. It's good to see him in the house. Midnight Scroller is in the house. JJE is in the house. Simply Wooden Creations is in the house. Kilroy, Odessa Woodworking and Maker Shop. Al is in the house.
I'm not in the right. I'm not.
Yeah, I had problems. That's what I was telling you. I had problems. I had to make a whole new show. So you need to go to the new show.
I guess I do.
Luanna Pierce.
People, I didn't mean to ignore the chat. I literally didn't think anyone was there.
Luanna Pierce is in the house. Jim Dockrell in the house. Let's see. Go on down a little further. I think I got you all. I don't know what. Oh, there's Muttnuts. Yeah, she was the first one in the room. I didn't want to ignore you, sweetie. Good to see you there. And so now y'all know about, same thing I do. It's just one step at a time, one day at a time, doing what I need to do, and trying to keep the water off of me. And they got me on a couple water pills and a blood pressure pill right now. That's all the medication that they put me on for the time being. Now, all that'll change next week after I see the doctors, but, there it is. I'm just going to have a good time. I'm going to enjoy myself. I'm going to be the biggest pain in everybody's ass that you ever seen. There will be video of much of it. I've got a few cohorts in crime that are going to be sidekicks here local. Because I'm just lining off chores. I want you to do this. And then you do this, and you do that. We're going to have some fun around here for a change.
Oh, yeah. I published the wrong show on my.
Well, that's why nobody's coming in.
Group.
But yeah, here's the deal. If I try to schedule this through StreamYard on my laptop, it tries to put it on my other channel, my old channel. And I'd forgot about that when I tried to do it from my laptop this morning. So when I tried to pull it up tonight, it wouldn't open because it was trying to do it from the old account. So I tried to change it over to this account, but it wouldn't allow me to do that. So I got this account opened up, and then I got everything settled on this computer. But the other issue was that since I was gone, this computer decided to update and do new and improved Google this, that, whatever thing it does. And so I had to format all that stuff before I could deal with the YouTube thing. I'm like, man, if it ain't one thing,
Windows.
It's always something.
Always something.
Yep.
For sure.
So Jim Docker says you're on the wrong planet.
Well, sometimes I don't know which way is up. You should have seen me in the shop. I was making sawdust today.
Yeah.
I couldn't find my clamp for the pocket holes, tore things. I was just about ready to give up, go buy a new one because I didn't know what else to do. I'm like, there's a little wood box with a
lid on it.
Had some fabric on it. It was like an apron or something. I'm like, I just moved. I'm like, there it is. And then I thought I left the driver for the pocket screws at my son's apartment. So I FaceTimed him, disturbed whatever he was doing. And I was like, show me that drill I left there. I think I left the part there. And then I hung up with him and I found it immediately. I'm like, par for the course.
Well, the funny thing about that stuff is it's always in the last place you look.
That's accurate. That is textbook accurate. Yep.
But I have been told, now I don't really know if there's a lot of truth in this, but they're saying that if you tell yourself while you're looking for it, that I know it's here. I know it's here someplace, and it's just a matter of finding it, that you will find it. But if you tell yourself, well, I think, somebody's lifted it or somebody's, borrowed it and it's not even here, you're not going to find it.
That's a hard one to wrap your head around because they're inanimate objects.
Yeah.
It's like, what does your thought or good energy have to do with inanimate objects? See, that's like a hard stretch.
But if you're telling yourself that it's not there, even if it's there, you won't see it.
Well, sometimes I look right at items and I don't know that they're there.
That's a man thing.
Yeah, it is.
It's a man thing.
Where's the milk? Where's the milk? The milk is center front. Where's the milk?
There was a fella in the amateur radio club over at the house one day, and we was working on something, and we needed WD-40. And I said, if you go to that cupboard back in the back hallway back there and open them great big doors up on it, right in front of your eyes will be a can of WD-40. You cannot miss it. It's on the front end, right in front of the shelf. If it's any closer to the edge of the shelf, it would fall out of the cupboard. It is right there. And he goes back there and he's gone and he's gone and he's gone. And I thought, what the hell? Is he trying to drink it? What's going on? And he finally comes out and he says, I can't find it. I walked back there, opened up the cupboard doors. Right there's the WD-40. I reach up there, take it out of the cupboard, close the doors, walk in there. I said, does this look familiar? So, I've decided it's a man thing that, you guys can't say nothing. And a lady told me one time, we was talking about our yarn stashes and, all of our fiber arts and stuff. And she says, man, I tell you what, I'd love to buy more fiber. She says, but I'm afraid to. And I said, why is that? And she says, my husband will have a fit. She says, he keeps asking me, what are you going to do with all that stuff you got now? You don't need to be buying more of it. And I said, well, honey, there's a real good way to hide it. I can tell you exactly what it is. And she says, well, what's that? And I said, well, you got a cupboard in your bathroom? She said, yeah. And I said, you keep toilet paper in there? She says, yeah. And I said, well, here's what you do. You get you a big cardboard box that'll fit on one of them shelves, and you write on the front of it toilet paper. And then you fill it up with your yarn and you put it in that box and you put it on that shelf, and he will never find it because there's not a man on the planet that knows how to find the toilet paper.
Oh, come on now. Come on now. Yeah.
I said, how many times have you walked in that bathroom and there has been an empty toilet paper roll spinning on that spinny thing? I said, I'm here to tell you, that's where you hide your fiber.
You got it all figured out, BrendaG.
They will never look there.
Got to write a book.
Michelle says, I have misplaced some polymer clay tools I need to make my lizards. I've been making and have looked everywhere and still can't find them. So I ordered new ones and watch the old ones will show up. Yep.
No, they will.
Yep.
They will. I bought tools that I've just misplaced or parts to tools that I've, misplaced. It's just, it's tough. And I try and put things back where they go.
Yeah.
I kind of have a method to it. It's not anything too strict, but like I know where that clamp was. I put it up on top of the tool wall and I have two of them, and one of them was there and one of them wasn't there. And I'm like, okay, well, if I used it, it was probably over on the workbench. So I tear apart the workbench underneath, pulling it. Like, I don't know. It was just in this weird random wood box with cloth over top. Like, why would I cover it up? I just don't know.
Well, that was a convenient spot for it the last time you used it. And so you laid it down there and then you didn't put it back where you would normally put it. And
I think the box was on the little table. And then I had to clip the table off and I put the box more. And then it's progressively getting farther and farther away from where it should be.
Any of us that are crafters know that feeling, because you're working on one project. You might have even 2 or 3 more sitting around the table or the bench or whatever it is you're working on there. And things get mixed in, you're in a hurry to clean stuff up. Maybe somebody's coming over or you got something else you got to get done real quick. And so, you throw stuff in a box and you forget where you put it. It's happened to me. My stuff right now, most of my craft stuff is in boxes stacked up upstairs until such time as I can get around to trying to get things organized up there. And yeah, I can't find anything. If I'm looking for something, I go up there and I can look for an hour and still not find it.
This is what I've started doing, is putting all like objects in a place. So these are all the TRS cables. This is the AV gear, which I keep getting larger and larger boxes because just, a lot of little screws and holders and things like that.
Yeah.
And then this that has the Apple logo. This is all the white cables for the Apple device.
Yeah.
I try hard. Not the best at it, but I try.
Yeah. Yeah, my stuff is so scattered right now, and especially since I've been sick. Because if I need something, I'll go and get it, and then it gets laid down someplace where it shouldn't be laid, and then it gets thrown in with other stuff. And wow, I've got. Not only do I have a long haul with his medical stuff, but I got a long haul with trying to get my stuff put back and organized in some kind of decent fashion so that I can use my stuff again.
La Pique Bois. This is just weird knickknacks.
Yeah.
Like stuff I don't know what to do with. Whistles and buttons and bells and blinkers and Paul's Messy Workshop made me this. I asked him to make me that.
Yeah. Yeah, I had the fellers make me some of them little tripod things that you put your projects on, hold them up off of the work surface.
Yep.
And for my canvases and stuff like that. I think I got 2 sets of those around here. And those have come in handy for some things that I've done.
A bunch of these little tripod thingies.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is the nicer one. Look, this one. Okay, that's a tripod. Okay, you get it. But then it telescopes up. If you want. It can be like a selfie cam.
Yeah. You and I are going to have a chat about cameras and audio and tripods and all that kind of thing, because that GoPro ain't going to cut it. I hate the audio on that thing. And I don't have any way to do like audio from a distance with it.
Well, if you're talking wireless, you're talking hundreds of dollars.
Well, we might be talking that. Because, hey, I can't take it with me. Yeah. And if I put it on a credit card, well, so I'll have to make payments. But I'm not going to sit here without the things that make me happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. If that's what makes me happy, that's what my hobby is, then, that's the way it's going to have to be.
Wireless audio also requires batteries. So there's like a battery obstacle, and then there's, dialing in the frequencies obstacle. They're a little tricky to use, but they're convenient because they're wireless. Yeah. And you'll have a pack, go in your ear, and then it'll go into like a little brick that you put on the table or put in your pocket or something.
But if you need something like that so that people can actually hear your audio, see, that's the problem I have with that GoPro. People can't hear it. It sounds like crap. And
you can use a GoPro just for images and then use your audio through.
But even those are poor as far as I'm concerned. I'm thinking, there's better options than what that thing can produce.
No, my GoPro's banging.
My phone would do better than, trying to mess with that GoPro. And I don't know if it's just because I got one that, is badly manufactured or what, but I don't like it. I used it.
The GoPro. So
I used it a couple years, but it just never.
They've come a long way, Brenda. I'm just saying, and they're dead simple. Like you can't focus them. You don't have to worry about the aperture, the ISO.
Well, that's why I got it, because it was simple and something simple to use. But simple to use may not mean that you're getting the bang for the buck too. I think it's a 6. I think it was a GoPro 6. I know they've come out with a whole slew of them since then.
The Hero 10 Black is what they have now. And there's a sale. They have them for sale. $200 off.
Yeah, it's a 6 black, and I just don't like it.
Okay.
Um, I'm seeing other people use much better quality devices for their videos than that thing. And if I'm going to put it out there, I'd like for it to be something that people would enjoy watching and say, man, look at the quality on that. That's a nice clear picture. And oh, wow, I can actually hear what they're saying and don't sound garbled up.
Well, the next option is to get like a mirrorless camera. It's probably about $600, and then get a nice lens, and then get a capture card. Capture cards are $250 for the nice one, or $150 for the not so nice one. So, like my camera setup with the capture card, $1,300. Now it comes with the lens I got. You cannot zoom it. It has no zoom. It's called a prime lens, which means if you want to get something larger, you have to get closer to it. So it's kind of sucks in that regard. Mm-hmm. But it's a f1.4. The lower the number, the more expensive and the better the camera is. So it's at the absolute lowest it can go. But rather than spending $2,500 on the lens, it's just $400 because you can't zoom it. So a lot of these mirrorless cameras, now you don't need the big honking lens that does the blurry background. You can use the kit lens. It'll still be a very nice picture. So I don't know, is like $150 capture card and like a $600 to $700 camera, like, is that the price range you want?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I was waiting to see what kind of options that you could provide, and go from there. Maybe.
So the thing is, you want it for streaming, right? You want it to stream.
Not live streaming. No, I want to be able to do videos. Let's say, we get our potato launcher going out in the front yard this summer, and I want to be able to do videos and show what we're doing, and how we're entertaining the neighborhood. And
if you're not doing live stream, see, live streaming is the highest bar, mm-hmm. and it's the most expensive, mm-hmm. because you need very specific features that cost a lot for live streaming. Mm-hmm. If you're just recording video off the camera and then jacking that into your computer and taking right. Then you could use a little point and shoots for that. There's little, handy, what do they call it? The I don't know. There's little point. I mean, yeah, that, and they don't cost very much at all.
Well,
$199.
Does it give a good picture?
They give great pictures.
Does it have
for recorded video?
Okay. Does it have the audio? What's the word I'm looking for?
I guess. Well, if you're going to have the camera in your hand.
No. I want to put it on a tripod so that it's getting the big picture of whatever the hell it is we're doing. And when I talk into the microphone that I have on me, I want that camera picking up whatever it is that I'm saying to go along with the audio. I don't want to have to overspeak it. If I have to put a sock on the mic to get down wind noise or whatever, well, I can do that. But I want something with some good audio.
Well,
I've seen
this kind of microphone that can jack into your cameras.
Well, I've seen some of the video guys. I'd have to go back and watch those videos again. That they're just videoing, and they got their camera and they got it on a tripod they can set up, and they'll set it up and go do whatever it is that they're going to do and talk and tell you, okay, I'm doing this and that and the other thing, and they've just got a lapel mic on. And it's a wireless lapel mic so that they're not tethered to the camera.
Right.
And the audio sounds wonderful on it. And I didn't know if you had any insight as to any of those microphones, which one might be better or worse. Or
yeah. I mean, I have lapel mics, but they're wired. I could look at some wireless ones, but I know they're not cheap. They're 300 plus, for those things. Now here's something to consider. I know you want the lapel, but this is very directional. This can be across the room, but as long as it's pointing directly at you, it will
Okay.
pick you up.
All right.
So it could be 10 feet away.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if it's like this, it's not going to get you. It's
Right.
got to be pointed right at your face. And this can just jack right into your camera. These are $200, but I'll spec out, and then
Okay.
we'll take whatever the audio it is. It'll have one of these connectors, and that can go right into your camera.
Well, I'm not in a big hurry about this because they're probably going to start chemo on me next week, and I don't know how bad that's going to kick my ass. So, I may be laying around for a little while trying to, get my body under control from that. But sometime this summer, I'm hoping to be straightened up enough that I can get out and have some fun and start lighting things up around here. People are going to finally understand that I have moved to town. I think they've been thinking, well, she'll eventually leave. And they're going to find out, no, she's here for the long haul.
Oh, my. He's talking about the Rode Video Micro Mutt Nuts. Yeah, that's one of these guys.
Frankie CNC's in the house. Hello, Frankie.
Frankie CNC.
Good to see you.
CNC and Woodworking Channel.
Yeah, there's nothing that'll turn you around faster than what I've been told this past week. You start figuring out what's important. I had a friend of mine that I was talking to the first day on this that was in the hospital, and she says, okay, she says, time for a wake-up call for you. I've known her since we were 11 years old. We went to school together, and she says, I'm going to wake you up. She says, here's something that you need to be told. What is more important? And I was real quiet, and she says, what is more important?
Then what? That's a comparison question.
Exactly. And she says, the crap that you have been soaking in for months now on this foolishness with this tree, or your health. How long are you going to sit there and be concerned about that crap? She says, if you're gone, what does it matter what the house looks like? What does it matter whether they fixed things or didn't fix things? If you go through all your Medicare and Medicaid kicks in, they're going to take the house anyway as soon as you're out of it for 6 months. She says, why are you worried about that kind of crap? What is more important? She says, you're going to have to learn to let stuff go. It didn't take me very long to be turning stuff loose as hard as I could turn it loose. I did not realize, you get too close to the forest to see the trees. You don't realize how much of that stuff you're soaking up and how much of that stuff's going through your body. Even my endocrinologist, when I explained to him what landed me in there, he said, I know exactly what's wrong with you. He said, I've looked at all the test results and everything, and I see, where we've ended up. He said, but I know exactly how you got here. He says, this is caused by stress and nerves. I've seen it a million times. He says, that's how this all got started, was with stress and nerves. He says, you got to learn to let it go.
Yeah. And he's the professional.
And
Al says Brenda is more important. And more cowbell too, says Al. More cowbell.
I'll be sitting out in the front yard this summer beating the hell out of that cowbell.
I gotta have more cowbell.
Oh, shoot. But, they were right. It's true. And I'd even said, that's why I got the hiatal hernia. And I know a lot of people say, how in the hell is she diagnosing this and that? And yeah. Well, that's one of the first things on my diagnosis list is hiatal hernia. So I wasn't completely wrong. I just didn't know everything was wrong.
Wow.
But when I knew that it got so bad that, okay, this is not improving and it's getting worse, it's time to go. And well, that's something else that I haven't really talked about, but what had set it off that day that I ended up in the ER was that my attorney had sent me a letter that came from the attorney for the city telling me that I could pound salt. They're not going to pay a dime. And that's what pushed me over the edge. So, they've done their thing. They've pushed me as far as they can push me. Now they're going to find out you don't mess with a country girl. I tried doing it nice. I've tried doing it the correct way and doing it through the legal methods. But now they're going to find out how fun I can make retaliation.
Time to call Uncle Jimmy.
Oh, shoot.
Break some kneecaps.
And let's just say there's going to be a potato launcher involved.
Brenda, you're going to get put behind bars.
Yes, I am. Yes, we are going to need bail money. And if anybody would like to contribute to the bail money fund, on my page, you'll look up there at the banner and it'll give you a bunch of little icons. And the PayPal banner is up there. Just send it friends and family, and that way they don't take no chunk out of it. And that we can use that all for my bail money. But yes, I am planning on that they will be taking me away in cuffs, and we'll get the AP out here and we'll put it on the wire. This is how they treat senior citizens that are cancer patients. And this is the way these people behave in this city. I am going to humiliate them in ways that they have never imagined being humiliated.
Now, selfishly, if you were to go to prison, could you imagine how good your videos would be? All the content you would have?
All the comedy shows that would be going on down the jailhouse. And, oh, my goodness. Yes, on some of them night shifts, where there wasn't anything going on, the girls would all come in there in the room and have me tell them stories. And the one said, "Honey, you need to write a book." She says, "I swear I never heard anything like some of these stories you told me." I said, "I can't make them up." I said, "Everything I'm telling you is true."
Your crowning achievement was that's why I'm still single.
On the motorcycle?
Each episode was better than the last. I'm like, holy hell.
Everybody likes that motorcycle one, with the skunk scent circling my head inside that hood that I had on.
Yeah.
Oh, I tell you what, I've had a good run. What do I have to complain about? I mean, yeah, there's been some things. I made some bad decisions, just like everybody else makes some bad decisions. And if I had things to do over, well, hell yeah, there's a lot of things I'd do different. But it is what it is. I had to follow the path that I was on, and I have to follow the path that I'm on now. I've done things that people would only dream of doing. And I have done things that people would never dream of doing. And
oh, yeah.
I plan on doing some more of it.
Hey, Rich Vibes is here. I didn't see him come in. Hi, Rich.
Hey, Rich, good to see you. Prisoner Cell Block G.
Brenda's new playlist is going to be, and that's when I started stabbing.
Well, while in the hospital, I didn't do much stabbing, but they sure did.
Yeah.
My poor little veins, I haven't got any to begin with. And what few I've got are little tiny thin ones, and they're deep, and they like to roll and they like to pop. And they have poked me so full of holes, I'm almost afraid to drink anything because I'll turn into a sieve.
Oh, my goodness.
They drained me of blood. They ended up 2 PICC lines in. The one lasted about a day and a half before the veins blew in that one. And so they went to the other arm, and my arm's black and blue from right above the elbows all the way down to my fingertips. They jabbed the bejeebers out of me.
It's weird because the left arm, it's hidden. The right arm, it's popping right out. It's staring you right in the face.
Yeah, mine. They had to bring in this thing that's like a stud finder, but it's for veins, to hold over my arm just to find out where veins were. And even then, it's not showing you how deep they are in the arm. So they find where the location is, and then they go in there and go to digging.
All right, let's not talk about this.
You want to go for my next blood test? I'm taking volunteers.
Now, here, let me ask you this question. Maybe I shouldn't ask this question.
Oh, ask it.
I want to know
Lord,
the
I've been
answer.
asked everything under the sun.
Do you watch the needle go in?
Yeah.
I can't do that. I can take needles just fine. No problem. But I just don't look at it.
When they go to digging is when it goes to bother me. You know, if they can get in there and get it, I'm okay. But they start digging, you know, and you feel it raking. That's when it bothers me.
I got stuck on Monday. Didn't feel it at all. I'm like, did you do it? Because I told you I don't look at it. I'm like, did you do it? She's like, yeah. I'm like, I don't feel a thing. Like, not a thing. I was like, you're really good at your job.
I had a couple of them that was good like that, you know, they could get in there and get it. And I'd warn them, you know, they come in, we're going to draw blood. I said, well, are you going to draw blood out of the PICC line? You're going to stab me. I'm going to stab you. I said, well, then I feel the obligation that I must forewarn you that my veins are not cooperative. I don't really have any to begin with. They like to roll. They like to pop. And they're just little fine veins, and you're going to probably need your stud finder to find them. And I'm just telling you, I don't have any control of them. They got a mind of their own. And so, you know, some of them, they just shrugged it off as no big deal. You know, they could find them. Now, there was this one fella nurse that he worked nights. And if he had to come in and draw blood from me, I didn't have a problem in the world with him doing it. He used to work in an ambulance and have to draw blood from people like me in a rolling ambulance on the way to the hospital, bounce it up and down.
Wow.
He could grab them veins. He knew what he was doing quick. And so, you know, if he needed to come in, I called him Nurse Hottie. And
Jim Dockrell's razzing me. Always gets it in there, that Jim Dockrell.
He always gets it in there for you.
NDT show is here. Hello.
Hello, Nathan. Good to see you. I'm still kicking. They can't figure out how to take me out.
Brenda's kicking butt and taking names.
I'll tell you what, I ain't going to go until a bunch of them doctors buy me roses and take me out to dinner. You know.
Too funny.
Them girls, them nurses in there, you know, when I'd be after them doctors and fellas, you know, I'd be asking, you want my digits? And the girls are, oh my God. I said, girls, pay attention. You ain't going to get unless you ask.
The Illuminator is here. Hello.
Hello. Good to see everybody strolling through here tonight.
Yeah, baby.
I've been gone too long. But like I say, now next week, no show because I got a doctor's appointment. That has to come first. And we'll see what they got to say. And then we'll take the next week by ear. I mean, YouTube's going to be the same as everything else in my life. I'm taking it one day at a time. You know?
Understandable.
And we'll see how I feel, what they put me on, and how it goes on. You know, I'm hoping that it goes like clockwork. One thing I found very interesting, they kept telling me, especially on CT scans, that now we're going to be putting this IV in your arm, and then we're going to get to a certain point here where we're going to be running this fluid in with the fluids from the IV. And when we do that, you're going to start feeling flush. And it's going to get warmer and warmer and warmer. And you'll feel it in your face. And then it's going to run down through your body, clear down to your feet. And you're going to feel like your heart is racing at one point. And so we're telling you this so you don't panic. Just lay still. Well, they did that in the emergency room. I didn't feel a thing. I didn't feel flush. I didn't feel, any of the stuff that they was talking about. There was no heart racing, none of that stuff. And so they got done with it. And I told him, I said, do you do that scare somebody? Because I didn't feel nothing. And he said, well, everything went the way it was supposed to on the CT scan. I don't know. And then the next day, well, not the next day, it was 2 days later, over at the hospital, they ran the 3-part CT scan. And they were supposed to have done that to me like 3 times. And I didn't feel a thing. And they, I told him, well, I didn't feel that when they did that in the ER. And he said, you'll feel it today. And they was supposed to do it. I didn't feel flush or any of that. And I'm wondering if it had anything to do with how badly dehydrated I was.
Oh. Interesting. Yeah,
That
I wouldn't know, but
there wasn't enough water in my system to carry it.
Right. Wow. I don't know.
But I'm telling you, I was so dehydrated that they wanted a urine sample, and all I could give them was dust.
Jeez. Oh.
My eyes had crusted shut to the point where I had to soak my eyes with compresses to get my eyes to open. They couldn't draw blood there in the ER until they gave me a half a bottle of IV fluid. And even then, the blood would just ooze into the tube. And they'd have to draw it over and over again because they're trying to get it to flow fast enough that it wouldn't coagulate.
Oh, no. Well, can't they push fluids through you? Like force them in?
They couldn't because they was going to do the CT scan. And the CT scan they was running required that I not have any IV fluids until that was over. And then when they got that over with, they decided they was going to admit me over at Ball. And they said, well, we can't give you any IV fluids until you get over to Ball because we don't know what tests they're going to want to run on you over there. And we don't want to screw up the work.
Dehydrated the whole time.
So I sat there all day Tuesday waiting for a bed to open up over at Ball without fluids. They'd let me chew ice chips, but I mean, when you're that badly dehydrated, what's ice chips going to really do for you?
Right.
And then when I get over to Ball, they wouldn't let me have anything. It was Tuesday night, and they said, no, they're going to run the ultrasound and the CT scans in the morning. So you can't have any fluids put through you tonight. So it was Wednesday before they even started trying to get any kind of fluids in me. And then it was Wednesday afternoon that they started pulling the fluids out of me. But it was a different thing, because it was all the fluids that had built up in my abdomen. Well, I'm not going to say all the fluids. It was some of the fluids that had built up in my abdomen. They can only take out so much at a time. And they said that your body has to acclimate to what they have removed. And that might take several weeks before they could go in and take out more. But hopefully we get my kidneys functioning properly so that my body just naturally gets rid of the rest of it and I don't have to go through paracentesis again. So, that's the deal with that. Just one thing after another. And I tried to be a good girl and do everything they said to do. The only time I kicked a fit was when my doctor decided that he was going to dope me up Saturday on nerve medicine and had me go face first into my lunch. And then he wanted to put me on the same stuff, but he wanted me on pills instead of the shot they'd give me. And, well, I can't even say what I had to say there at the hospital when the nurse came at me with those pills. But let's just say I told him what they could pretend to be and where he could put them. Because I'd ask him plain when he talked about nerve medicine. I said, "You're not going to give me something that's going to kick my ass, are you?" And he says, "Oh, it's mild." It kicked my hind end all over that room. Nurses hanging on to me flopping around like I was on a 5-day drunk.
My goodness.
I'm trying to wake up, I kept fighting it because I didn't want to be knocked out.
Yeah.
And that was making things even worse. I was trying to keep an eye on my heart rate. My heart rate was up because they wouldn't let me go home. And I told him, I said, "Look, you want my heart rate to go down? Simple, very simple. Just let me go home.
Get me out of here.
My heart rate will just go right back down if you just leave me alone. Let me go home. Oh, we can give you a little something. Little something. I'd hate to see what a big something was." So, yes, that was the only time I pitched fit.
Understandable.
But I thought that was justifiable,
Yeah.
Let me dope you up like that and see how you like being locked up in this room for days on end and then being doped up. Nope. I thought that's what I get for being cooperative. They think they can do anything to me now. We're going to have to start laying down the law.
People learn real quick. Like there's only so far you can push Brenda. Like you can't get her over that line.
Yeah. Well, they all knew that, I'm a lot of fun and that I love to laugh, joke around with them and tease them and, have a good time, tell them stories and all that kind of thing. But don't come at me with a bunch of silliness and don't lie to me, If they would have told me now, like Thursday and Friday, when they said, "Well, you can probably go home over the weekend," if they had told me then, because they knew I was going to have to meet with that cancer crew, and they knew that cancer crew was not going to be there over the weekend. If they had just told me then, "Look, you're going to be here on Monday," so I could have mentally prepared for this instead of thinking I was going to get home, get to see my dog, get things organized a little bit, and to get to go on with my life some. Instead of being locked in that room all weekend, because I was not allowed to leave that room. I left there on Friday afternoon for a test, and that's when they did the biopsies. And then they brought me back to the room, and I was in there until I left on Monday. And it's all I had was my cell phone and the clock on the wall. Well, there's a TV there, but I don't watch TV. And so that's all I had to entertain myself with the whole time I was in there. Unless the nurses come in and, I had somebody tell a story to or joke with, which wasn't often. They'd leave you in there for hours on end. There was one night that they left me in there for 9 hours and never poked their head in the door to see if I was breathing and if I was still alive, and me on water pills. Now, granted, I was being stubborn. I could have hit the call button, and it might have taken them maybe 2 hours to get in there instead of 9. But I just wanted to see how long is it going to take. And I know they was out at the nurses' station sleeping. They left my door wide open. I'd ask them to close the door, and they wouldn't close the door, so I could hear everything that was going on out there. And there wasn't nothing going on at the nurses' station. So unless they was in another room having a party someplace, they were asleep out there. And I thought, that's disgraceful. At least go around once every couple of hours. The hospital administrator told me, she said, "Well, they're supposed to go around every hour at night and look in the door. If they don't do anything else, at least look in the door to see what's going on in the room." And I said, "Here, I'm here to tell you that does not happen on the weekend shift. I'm just telling you."
It's a shame.
But yeah, it was a beautiful hospital. It was a beautiful room. It was a single room, private bathroom. Well, I say private in the respect that it was my bathroom, but it wasn't private in the fact that I had to have nurses following me around watching everything I did while I was there. So there is no modesty.
Right.
Whatever you got, they're going to see it. I just got to the point where I just went to flashing everybody.
Hello, world.
Yeah. Have you seen it yet? You want to? Well, let's see here. What time are we dealing with? We're a little after 8. I probably need to get off of here and go and prop my feet up over my head again and let my feet drain out. They're trying to keep the water off of them. They seem to drain out pretty good if I get them in the air. But if, dangling down, gravity keeps pushing the water to my feet. I did go get a pedicure yesterday morning, and boy, I tell you what, that was wonderful because I had him give me a good leg massage. He got the blood pumping and took a lot of the swelling out yesterday and made my feet feel better.
They'll do that on a pedicure?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I asked him, when I got up in that pedicure chair, I said, he's looking at my big old swollen feet look like two big toady frogs about to jump off of lily pads. I said, you think you can do anything for them feet? And he says, we'll take care of it. I said, all right. So he went to work on them and just massaged my legs up to the knees and just rubbing and, getting that blood flowing. And then he'd tap on the bottom of my feet with the back of his hand, to get the blood pumping. And the next thing I knew, the swelling was going down in my feet, and that felt much better.
Wow.
But, I woke up this morning and they were starting to swell up again. So off and on all day, I've been in there. I got two great big fluffy pillows that I lay down, and then I lay there like a bat, my feet high in the air. And I told somebody the other day, I said, I feel like a vase that somebody's trying to prepare for a bunch of flowers.
All right.
Flat on my back with my feet up in the air.
If it works for you, it works for you. Well, I'm glad you're in good spirits. I like the new Brenda.
Well, she's just getting revved up, is all I can tell you.
There you go. Turn it up to 11.
It's no holds barred anymore. There used to be. Now, I used to think I didn't have a filter, but I have found out in the last week that I did have a filter. There was times that I'd bite my tongue and not say what was on my mind.
Oh my!
But it's gone now. They removed it over there at Ball Memorial, so that filter is gone. And I say what's on my mind. And if people don't like it, I don't care. I mean, you don't like it, then who are you going to hate on when I'm gone? You better make your list. It is what it is. But I'm so glad to get to see everybody. I hope that everybody got to enjoy seeing me. Even though, this has sort of been the medical edition of Mind Equals Flow.
Medical edition, and it was like a last-minute stream. It wasn't scheduled, so.
Yeah.
But we're thrilled that the people did show up that could, and we understand if people didn't get the notice. Well,
I'd been planning to do it all week, but I can't be too sure day to day how I'm really going to feel. And I hated to schedule it and have to cancel it again. And I've been doing that for a month now. And I thought it's going to have to just be kind of impromptu on Thursday. And I warned a few people that I'm going to try to go live on Thursday night. But, if I don't, just be understanding about it. And, we'll work this out as we go. But I know everybody and their brother has been wanting to see me. I tell you what, I was brought to tears this morning. Tears of joy, because I finally got around. It's just been one thing to try to straighten out after the next, and trying to get things organized, and I hadn't had a chance to do it. But I know I have a lot of people that follow me over on Facebook. They love the memes that I post and jokes that I post and all that kind of thing, and I had not gotten around to telling everybody what has gone on. So I posted on Facebook about this morning, and there was the awfulest outpouring of love on that post that I have ever seen posted to anybody ever
Yeah.
on Facebook.
People care about you.
I was so impressed to have so many beautiful souls and friends out there that care. I mean, that
Without a
was
doubt.
just truly a moment, of joy and bliss, of people that was willing to pray for me and willing to send me healing energy and send me good vibrations, and you know not not run me down and not tell me how big of an idiot they think I am because I didn't go do something sooner, or you know whatever. And it was refreshing to know that there really are people out there that care. So for
Love.
any of you that posted to that, I'm truly grateful, and you'll never know how much that touched me.
Yeah, it was good to see that post. And then I ran into the post you did 2 or 3 days ago. You did a small one. I think it was on your Facebook community tab. No,
It
I
was
mean your
on YouTube.
YouTube community tab, I
Yeah,
meant to say.
yeah,
So I just saw that. I saw that one a couple days after you posted it. And then I saw your recent one this morning. I was like, okay, good. Now she's getting the word out.
yeah.
So
And it wasn't that it was a secret. It's just you get so overwhelmed that okay, you got to
sure.
take care of this, and you got to take care of that, and you got to do this, and you got to do that. You got to get your doctor's appointments, got to get your medications, you got to start trying to get your paperwork ironed out, and you got to deal with these legal issues, and on top of your health issues, and trying to keep the water drained out of your feet, and it's just one thing after the next. So, it wasn't that I was trying to keep it a secret. It's just like there's only so many hours in the day and so much that I can contend with. Just give me a chance to catch up here a little bit. I'll get to you. But
Everybody understands, Brenda. They all
so,
understand. And they're happy. They were happy to get the note, and I'm not surprised there was such an outpouring because there's I see the community out there. I see all the people that interact with you. I know there's a lot of people out there that care about you. But I
well,
see what you're saying. Like when you're you, you don't always perceive it that way. I get
yeah.
it.
And Kilroy said, you can't take the past back. Exactly. You have to accept it for what it is. You make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. And if you think they don't make mistakes, then you're just kidding yourself. Everybody makes mistakes, and you can't go back and change them. And that's why I try to tell the young people that I run across that, look, you're going to make mistakes in your life. You're going to make wrong decisions. We all do it. But my caution to you is to be very careful when you're making decisions, because opportunities knock but once, and you can blow it by thinking a bad thought about yourself. Oh, I'm not smart enough to do that, or I'm not strong enough to do that, or whatever lies you're telling yourself about yourself, because you can do anything that you make up your mind that you want to do. You might need some help. You might need a mentor. You might need an educator. But you can do anything that you make up your mind you want to do. Don't let anything stop you. Don't let any negative Nellies come in your life and say, oh, well, you can't do that. No, you don't take no for an answer. If it's something you're passionate about, something that you want to do, then by God, pursue it.
That's right.
Because you can't go back. You don't want to be sitting there in 50 years saying, if I had just done this.
Yeah. No regrets.
Yeah.
NDT shows jumping off. Thank
Well,
you
bye,
for
Nathan.
stopping
I'm
by.
glad you got to come in.
Drop a like.
Good to see you. Sending prayers. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Yep. Jim Dockrell's out there. I called him. I scared him to death last night. I called him up. I don't know. Might have been the night before last. One night runs into the next. But he had sent me a message on Messenger, and I thought, oh, he's up. Somebody I can bother. So I called him on Messenger. He haven't never had anybody do that before. And the thing went to ringing. He didn't know where to answer. I taught him a new trick.
That's accomplishment with Jim. Yeah, for sure.
I like to teach people new tricks, especially if they're ornery ones, you know.
I get it.
Jim and I have a little honor streak going.
I know. I know.
Well, listen, everybody, I'm going to shut this thing down and I'm going to plan. I make plans, God laughs, but I'm going to plan to be back here with the live stream with Matt in 2 weeks. You know, wish me well and lots of prayers and stuff for this mess that I'm facing and what the doctors have to say about this and how they plan to treat it. And we're just taking it one step at a time. And it is what it is. And, you know, if it's my time to go, it's my time to go. And if it ain't my time to go, then I'm going to be around here to aggravate the hell out of you for God only knows how long.
We'll enjoy every minute of it.
You know, I don't want any negative garbage. Just everybody root me on with this.
Brenda Unfiltered. Bring it on, baby.
That's right. All right, everybody. We'll talk to you down the road.
Bye, everyone.